Solar Solution Waste Problem by Jennifer Bogish Perkins. Global warming is a real threat caused by increased greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, and residential use of solar power is one approach used to reduce carbon emissions created by household reliance on burning fossil fuels. But can more be done to address the end-of-life options for dealing with spent solar panels? Global warming is a real threat caused by increased greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. Though there are many processes that contribute to greenhouse gas, anthropogenic, man-made, causes are the most significant. Humans rely heavily on burning fossil fuels to power their daily lives and activities. Burning fossil fuels releases high levels of carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere, which causes the planet to warm. Over time, and more quickly than one might think, the warming planet will cause losses of whole ecosystems. Already here in California, the Sierra Nevada mountains, we have seen deforestation caused by bark beetles, which were able to flourish in these recent past warmer winters. Emissions need to be reduced in order to reduce the threat of global warming. Residential use of solar power is one approach used to reduce carbon emissions created by household reliance on burning fossil fuels. Using photovoltaic systems to produce energy for residences creates less greenhouse gas emissions than homes being powered by burning fossil fuels, and the California Energy Commission is encouraging the use of solar by rewriting the building code for residential homes. The California Solar Mandate took effect January 1st, 2020, and it requires a solar photovoltaic system as an energy source for nearly every new home built in California. Solar power is a good alternative and worth looking into as clean, renewable energy to power homes across California and the wider world. But PV modules come with their own set of environmental concerns and need to be processed with care. Unfortunately, because of the PV module's current designation as hazardous waste, 90% of spent solar panels are dumped into hazardous waste landfills, only 2 of which exist in California. Non-liquid hazardous waste is deposited in the landfill for final disposal and covered. This may not have been a huge concern yesterday, but we will need to come up with a plan to deal with the discarded solar panels of tomorrow. The California Solar Mandate of 2020 requires that nearly every new home built in California be fitted with solar photovoltaic system as an energy source, with the productive life of those panels expected to be between 10 to 30 years. In the future, a strong demand for systems able to perform their end-of-life treatment is undoubted. That is a huge amount of waste, without even taking into account the amount of panels that are damaged before installation or the ones that the manufacturers discard during the production process. The photovoltaic industry uses a variety of chemicals, some of which can be toxic to humans and other organisms. The primary chemicals of concern from the leaching of PV modules are heavy metals such as cadmium, selenium, copper, lead, and arsenic. These are toxic heavy metals known to cause kidney damage and weakened bones in humans, among other health issues. Whole solar panels are not generally a threat, but broken panels buried in landfills have the potential to affect groundwater. In my research, I have found that recycling of spent solar panels here in California is nearly non-existent. Solar panels are currently designated as hazardous waste, and so processing them for recycling requires great care and high cost. A reclassification is in the works which would designate solar panels as universal waste. This regulation, the Department of Toxic Substances Control PV Modules Universal Waste Management 2020-416-03, is expected to pass soon and will allow PV panels to be managed under the less stringent universal waste regulations. A solution to the waste problem associated with solar panels? Needing to be replaced by millions of homes in California alone within the next approximately 20 years, is for the government to offer incentives for recycling and to pass regulations requiring manufacturers to have a comprehensive end-of-life plan. One example I found in practice that seems to be working well is the Beverage Container Recycling Program of 1986. Beverage companies pay into a fund which is then used to pay out the benefit to consumers who turn their containers in for recycling. A program like this would work well for encouraging the recycling of solar panels, but we will also have to have the infrastructure in place, and that will require funding. Cal Recycle is California's Department of Resources, Recycling, and Recovering, and over the years they have offered programs and grants that promote recycling. Entrepreneurs and innovators could be encouraged to design uses for solar panel components to be recycled into new products if Cal Recycle were to offer grants for that specific industry. Another program that Cal Recycle promotes is product stewardship. This program requires that manufacturers be put on the hook for processing their products at end of life. Manufacturers could benefit greatly from this program if they can find a way to deconstruct their product with minimal damage so that the components can be reused to make a new product. These materials that the solar panels are made of are not only toxic, as I stated before, but some are also scarce. Any solution will have to include ease of use for the consumer. Sadly, even with the importance of going green and recycling being a mainstream idea, individuals will not recycle if it's difficult. Just think about all the stuff you throw away. Do you consider where it goes? It's just so easy to drop it into the trash can. A counter-argument is that it's not that bad to dump solar panels in the landfill. For the most part, the toxic elements that make up the panels are encased in glass, and even if the glass is broken, only trace amounts of the dangerous elements will leach into the soil and ground. To this, I say, then what is the point of going green in the first place? This would be trading one type of contamination for another. Our groundwater is just as important to our existence as is the air we breathe and the temperature in which we can survive. No. Solar panels are chock full of dangerous elements, and generally they do not end up in the landfill without damage to the glass. The likelihood of toxic chemicals leaching into the ground is very high. We need to deal with the end of life of solar panels before it becomes a big landfill problem, and the answer is to reduce, reuse, and recycle.